will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just
Welcome to the party. 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 Welcome to the party.
Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winternomics.
What up? What up? What it do? This is Paranoia. Yeah, oxygen situation is a little better than Monday. Not much actually. The whole house is sick. My son's out 3 days of school with whatever the fuck insane lung situation is going on. Burger shared something pretty interesting on that whole how bad this flu season is. Let me see if I can figure out how to find that thing. Where did he drop it? I think he dropped it in here. Yeah, check this out. So Burger dropped this yesterday. He said this chart. Let me see if I can. Okay, that's better. So he said this chart in the bottom left is when COVID was hitting the United States, and this right now is today. This is the basically the level of activity, how intense it is, and the whole country is basically sicker than fuck. So I don't know. It kind of like feels like the entire nation's sicker than before COVID was around, you know? Or this is kind of nuts. They said it's a combination of like three pandemics at once: RSV, COVID, and influenza, all at pandemic levels simultaneously. So like the whole country is fucking sick with some ultra strong ass shit, myself included. Shit looks crazy, right? Flu deaths were so low during COVID. I mean, it feels like the world is just sicker post COVID, you know? Whether it's COVID or the vaccines or the boosters or combinations or what the fuck ever, we're all just like sicker people. So that map is stunning though for that to look like that today, and not it's not really made major news of like what level that is compared to COVID. Like the whole country's like insanely sick. Yeah, this shit's crazy. I thought it was getting better, and I mean, last night I felt the same way as it did in the show. It was pretty nuts. Anyways, it wrecked everyone's immune system. Yeah, like people are just like literally not as healthy as they used to be. I mean, we've been up here. We moved back up here in New York in November, and we've been sick like every other month to 3 months since we got back up here. I mean, it's pretty nuts. We were like terribly sick in December. In March, both of us went in the hospital in May. Sick in August, and I don't think we had one more between this, but then it's like crazy. It's like all seasons. Not like there's also like a flu season. It's like every single season of the fucking year we got crazy sick. So I don't know, but looking at that map now, it looks like the whole country is just a different level of health, compared to what it was. Shout out to Sensitive User and Peace Outside. Appreciate you guys throwing some bits at the show this morning. So hopefully you guys survived that bit of a route. We talked about the potential of a longer corrective structure for the Dow and stuff, to pull back deeper, either a tight head and tight bull flag, or you're going to continue that low res trajectory back. And if you guys are starting to get good at contexting, right, now you see how you can stay on the side of like whatever resolution's happening, either the pullback on low resolutions or the continuation, on higher resolutions, or whatever, scaling you're doing. Maybe get that up. That makes more sense if you can see it. Where did I put this? All right. I believe we did it on this chart. I know something's wrong with my what do you call it, button to change cameras. So try to make sure I'm over there. All right, so like we violated this uptrend angle. You have the 2B on the high, and we could get like this degree of pullback. Like we said, you could actually come down and possibly keep following this channel back and just correct much deeper. It's possible. So we got a bit of an acceleration here through this level, and we want to see how this handles itself today. Obviously, the NAS and stuff like that, his correction was really deep, and he's the weaker of the three coming up out of this low resolution uptrend right now. So in this correction we have here, I've really been paying attention to the Dow because he's been like the leader of this whole rally. Right, we're watching diamond QQQs and stuff like that, right? And so this market's really been pumping on like industrial strength and like defense stocks and stuff like that. it's not been pumping on tech at all. So we're watching him, with the strength of the market being there, for his pullback. So now that we pull back a little bit more, we continue to monitor just like we always do. This, like we said, this is a low resolution uptrend. But if you take it as the macro, then this guy becomes your low resolution downtrend, right? And so we watch this. Let's clean up some of this stuff here now. We didn't get a rotation or a high and tight. That didn't happen. That's okay. So our purple projection and there's a pullback at this trajectory is happening. And so that's what we watch, right? Does it rotate this? Like I said, you don't have to fucking guess it. You could wait. The VIX, I told you pay attention to this guy's channel, right? And this was dangerous. He got down under here into the same range that the fucking correction came from last time in August. And so he's, basically 2B the low of that, recoil through 21. And like he told you, if you go through 21 and rotate this angle, pay attention. And it's instantaneous fucking dump move, right? As soon as you go through 21. And if you notice, it's like, we traded around a lot inside this range, 27 and stuff, and stable in the 27s and markets all over the place. But something about when you go across 21, it's just really fucking crazy. It's like insta-fucking-taneous Armageddon. So always a level to keep in mind. Like, it's not 20, it's 21. And it's, historically just been that motherfucker for at least the last 10 years I've been paying attention to it. So that's why we identify that versus 20. A lot of people say 20, but it's not 20. All right, so we've rotated this angle now. We've corrected all the way back down. He's got the same kind of structure here as you got here. So now we have to pay attention. How far does this go? This rotation up is the correction in the Dow Jones on that 2B from the most recent high. So as this keeps on tracking out, all right, if this guy does something like this and does anything like this shit, we give a shit, right? That's not a good thing for the market to continue any risk-on behaviors. This definitely, you don't want to see this going with the market trying to pump. This was still part of the Dow really, getting gas and some of those industrial stocks doing really well. So we do want to see, the VIX probably sustain near 21 or better if we're going to get like a good risk-on rally at all in industrials. So for the time being, we're de-risking right now. We rotated right here on December 6th. And so we want to pay attention from here if we keep on getting an impulse from the 6 on. Let's see. That was diamonds. Spies, we hadn't pulled up much here. So the spy situation, right? There's the same low resolution trend we put in here, right? That could possibly take us down to this angle. Whew. And we pay attention to how we behave if we get to the angle. So clear up some of the stuff we had in here. This is from a market prep yesterday. Forgot to delete this stuff. Not that. That's not that either. All right. So yeah, you see this, your bull flag is a low resolution downtrend. And now we kind of watch him. How far does he get? He's taking out this low to generate the high. We're opening like somewhere in this area. And there's a good chance we could all, meander, maybe even go sideways a little bit today and then get down here. And then that would be an inflection point to pay attention for this last, pump up. As this is a really, if you back up and just think about it, it's a massive bull flag. Massive one that we're kind of tilted in our bias looking at the Dow's version because he's actually killed the last high to make the most recent low. And if that's not a 2B and he rotates back up, we're really interested in him coming back through this level the next time. So for now, we're watching these guys here, SPY, Qs. None of them look like that. Just the Dow looks like that. And so, if it's not anomalous and, what we're seeing happen in defense stocks and some of the sectors that are leading this, like, if you guys saw this, peep it. You guys saw this? So for all you folks that pay attention to your OnlyFans, this is before we put it inside of Discord, but the old plays are still valid and many of them are still happening. I think a lot of people just stopped paying attention to this. So back in 2021 and 2020, a lot of people had talked about wanting to have resolutions that weren't like super scalping shit. Coming out of 2020, people were looking for long-term plays and stuff, and the channel I talked to. So I wanted to, not just do sheets that are like intraday stuff, which, forces everyone down to like nanoscale resolutions. But I put some stuff in here for people that said, their life and businesses and things like that wouldn't fit in with everybody who's like day scalping and shit like that. So I put a bunch of like high time frame, high resolution stuff in here. But I think, really the show covers so much stuff. If you're consistent with the show over time, you probably like get overwhelmed with how many ideas there are. Unless you're organized and have a plan, and you have your whole risk pyramid laid out, and you know like which stuff you want to be long term, which stuff you want to be short term, you're gonna get caught up seeing so many things that are good. You're gonna like fucking lose track of like your original plan and idea, right? Your plan is to just make money. You don't have to trade everything everybody talks about. We cover a lot of shit. This play right here, you could have sat on for last year because this is an unfolding large scale resolution play we talked about. And, a write up was pretty much spot on. We wrote this up in March 29th, 2021. And it said aerospace and defense is a key industry for U.S. national defense and will be no less so as we venture into the biggest battlefield of them all. Remember, no one's really fully sure what's going to be happening with Putin and stuff, going to this year. But this is a projection we made for Space Cash back in the 2016 that we'd be facing like this battlefield in the 2020s on the ground and in space. Smart weapons, drone fighters. You see the drone war in Ukraine right now? It's a full-blown drone war going on in Ukraine. Screen's not sharing? God damn it. Sorry about that. Damn it. So I was showing you this OnlyFans play for Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman. This was posted March 29th, 2021. And like I said, it's for people who are like long-term, stuff. Look at some ideas here. Defense was pretty interesting. Highlighted the ETF rocket for some of the defense guys and space cash guys. Anyways, and so like I was saying, in this one, you guys heard me reading it, so you heard what I said. Right, smart weapons, drone fighters, star destroyers. When we get there, Imperial cruisers, what the fuck ever you can think of from all your favorite sci-fi flicks is on deck. And with China and Russia taking space very fucking seriously as the final frontier, that it is for us, all the U.S. will need to spend. I said that really wrong. With China and Russia taking space very fucking seriously as the final frontier that it is for us all, the U.S. will need to spend their asses off to not lose superiority up there and down here. China played its cards right in the pandemic and managed to close major ground in the U.S. and space, so Biden has a lot more on his plate to tackle if he plans to keep the U.S. a going concern in front of its enemies than just handling healthcare and infrastructure, which is the typical cyclical booms you get when you deal with Dems. They typically spend heavy in those places, and you're not really known for defensive spending. The strong military is usually considered to be like the Republicans. So, but in this situation that you're dealing with right now, with the timing of what Russia and China are doing, Biden really has no fucking choice. So if he really wants to save the West and its allies from crippling years of Trump for country and the NATO alliance that was designed to keep both China and Russia at bay, then he's going to have to take government spending to new levels of outrage, which is exactly what fucking caused the flip in Congress. That means Powell damn well knows we have to run higher inflation targets for the foreseeable future. So he said the inflation back then was transitory, whatever BS. Turned out it was fucking runaway freight train inflation. And honestly, he had to know it. Because this was kind of obvious if you actually, looked at the landscape. If he didn't know it, then he mispriced the risk of Russia, which to me was a really obvious fucking threat. Which makes the statement all the more notable in recent testimony. So economic recovery, spending on that, plus space cash, spending on that, equals money printer in overdrive. If the world doesn't implode, asset prices of everything you know and love are going to look insane over the next 5 to 7 years from where they are today. And that's back then. And here we are in fucking mega fucking inflation. So this isn't something that's probably like a short-lived thing either, right? Getting control of this is a whole other fucking problem. Because you can't stop war spending. You're spending in Ukraine. They're spending on defense. You saw that crazy-ass B-21 bomber that came out from Northrop Grumman, right? We can't stop spending on basically a war front while we're in economic fucking, doldrums, and Powell is trying to fucking flush people out into the labor pool to slow down what seems to be a hot economy that doesn't make any sense because it's not fucking moving. So you have a real, crazy mix of situations happening, the geopolitical landscape, fiscal, and, monetary landscapes that really just is a recipe for us to all pay out of our asses for, the foreseeable future. So anyways, if you guys played this one, this was pretty cool. Pretty perfect rotation. You guys see us do this on the show all the time, right? Looking at your trend structure, your low, your high, your floor, and the potential in this structure here for a high, a low, higher floor, and an uptrend to form out of this. So it's just a rising trend on a major time scale that we looked at for this guy. If you guys pay attention to these were pretty easy. We cover these on the show pretty continually through the whole fucking year. So it wasn't like they're only in OnlyFans. We talked about these like all the fucking time. And this is the dude who pulled out that wicked ass bomber. If you guys saw this thing looks fucking sick. Let me get this. B-21. Fucking nuclear fucking destruction. Thing's pretty badass. It's like, the kind of like the B2, but like, looks pretty dope. This is it over here. B-21 Raider nuclear stealth bomber. Fucking Armageddon level shit. Get your ass handed to you if you want to fucking get that beef. So that's definitely a fucking big middle finger to Russia and China. It's like, we will absolutely atomize your ass. God damn it. Maybe later. But yeah. So pretty badass. I should have put that guy on the chart. But yeah, B-21 shit. So, there's going to be a lot of crazy weapons coming out. This is if they tell you about this one, whatever the fuck they haven't told you about, it's much crazier. So, that's one thing. The US doesn't really announce, like, super secret weapons. That was the one for you to fucking play with. Whatever they plan to actually blow their asses up with, we don't know about. Probably for another, 20 years. The stealth fighter, shit, I don't think it was publicly confirmed we even had that thing till, like, 1991. And I think it was around from the 70s. It does look like a UFO from some angle. It looks pretty dope. Sorry about that screen thing. Yeah, I gotta get a new stream deck. Looks like my control pad's died. Or I just have to reassign the button somewhere. I'll fix that by next show. So, Izzy said, heads up, peeps, FOMC in 7 days from today. Inflation numbers the day before. Those will all be major market moving events. And I think in these last 2 weeks before we get to Christmas slowdown, the market's gonna be making some pretty violent moves before it slows down. So that's the last major FOMC I think data before the end of the year. So I think we will be a significant distance from where we're at from this like little corrective structure on the pullback here. We're gonna be down in the fucking basement, heading down to the basement, or fucking the Dow's gonna correct, and we're gonna see this industrial pump come out of this little cluster of murders we have in this area in the price. Full moon's on December 8th. You know what that full moon is called? It's called the fucking cold moon. So, yeah. Emotions have been hot, the markets and everywhere. So, definitely, sentiment things are abound in the Discord, too. You guys have seen a lot of crazy fucking shit in there. And, it definitely is, it speaks to the fact that people aren't making money when you see that kind of, like, behavior. And the market trending, in industrials, no one seems to have benefited from it. And everyone seems to still be waiting for crypto to come back to fully save them, or something tech to pump and save them. And it's really, no one's looking at the side of the market where things are moving. Speaking of crypto, how many of you guys saw that the debacle with the Clonex monolith drop? I thought that was interesting for all of our Clonex holders here. We do have a lot. I would say they pretty much bungled that as bad as you could bungle it. Oh, jeez. Sorry about that. The apology tour they keep doing every 5 minutes is kind of like after the fact, after it damages people. I mean, Nike and these guys are pretty forward thinking, and I don't think these guys don't know what they're doing beforehand. That airdrop, that whole situation with the new sneakers, the sneakers are fucking amazing. I think that's like an amazing invention, but there's no way these guys did not know that the crypto kicks couldn't go outside the United States before they dropped these things to a global community of fucking investors really that support their brand. Like 20,000 clones are owned by like 9,000 holders, 10,000 holders that are the base of their entire brand. The liquidity of the fees they generate, transacting clones, transacting monoliths, transacting all these products, and they drop a technology piece, and they actually destroy the chain of the monolith. They actually took the monolith itself, and these guys, these shoes are awesome. I think the shoes are a great idea. But they took the chain of the monolith, and they took the monolith too and turned it into basically a 20% discount coupon for us to get first shot at buying the shoe. And if the shoe doesn't, sells out among us, it won't sell to the public. But if it doesn't, it'll sell to the public anyway at full price. So it turned into a coupon instead of another monolith, and they airdropped the monolith 3, which basically fucked everyone holding a monolith 1. And I know dudes out there holding like 40 monoliths. So there are people who are fucking pissed right now. So this is crazy. You got Clonex loyalists. I mean, this project is built around Takashi Murakami. It's definitely got Clonex holders in Asia, and all of them are sitting here now like, what the fuck? It's actually the craziest thing in the world that you create an exclusive U.S. drop to a global fucking like held NFT project like Clonex. That's definitely a major fumble. So Benito is at least promising that they will try to restore the value of the monolith chain inside monolith 3, which maybe that means they'll begin another series of like chains from that monolith. But it's really ridiculous they didn't just have monolith 2 give you the lace engine and then give you the monolith 3 so that you didn't fuck over the monolith 1 holders who are holding those like collectibles. So it was pretty ridiculous. But yeah, it basically just turned into a fucking coupon. Yeah, there's a lot of holders that are dumping the project over it. It definitely was a bad move on their part. And major, there's no way they didn't know. They keep on, oh, we had no idea that we were going to do this, this mint bad. And we had no idea that, I mean, there was one that said, we thought you guys would figure it out in the community with, everybody around the planet. You just talk to each other and fucking somebody received the fucking box for you. It's kind of a hell of an assumption, but they knew. And they just need to get the product in the market, and they've gotten in the marketplace at the expense of a whole lot of their holders that are not U.S. based or have some family or friend here to get the stuff for them. Um, they've only been treating the community as consumers. At the end of the day, I mean, these the Clonex to be in Clonex wasn't cheap, and every next thing is like, hey, you guys are first line to buy this from us. You're first line to buy that from us. And then they destroy the value of the thing they sell you. So it's like, okay, you're kind of fucking your community pretty bad at this point. You're delivering products, after product, and the shoes are really cool, but your methodology of going about doing this is not really putting your clone holders on the same side as the founders. It's putting them at odds with them. So I don't know if they're gonna fuck around and find out if they keep doing that. So let's see if they take corrective action, because I mean they're working under Nike, and the shoes are gonna come out now, and people who are on the Nike swoosh market are gonna get to start. That's basically the answer to StockX. And so the secondary market to like sell these shoes as collectible is definitely going to happen, right? People are going to want these things when they see these things that they're like the Back to the Future shoe, and they're going to put it through the swoosh market, and then the public is going to want these things, and people who should have benefited from getting these easy in the clone market to start becoming resellers of this limited stock collectible shoe are now fucked out of that entire product process. So this is kind of it opens up room for people who have significant holdings in Clonex to really push the fucking you're a security and you just fucked your investors kind of angle. Because let's face it, right? Like they can catch Eagle Labs for this. Like Clonex is absolutely a security, and everyone's in here for like what the future expectations of profit are going to be, and the technology is coming into being that can fucking give you your next fucking possible dividend. It's absolutely a security, and the people who didn't feel like saying, "Hey, fucking you crooked piece of shit, Gensler, why don't you look at this project?" Are going to feel like saying that more so now, and that's when you piss off your holders. Is when you cause yourself problems from inside your community. So let's see if they get in front of it before sooner or later. But yeah, definitely not something that I like seeing them do with that drop. It is 9:01. You guys ever need any war stories recently? What the fuck? Somebody's got to have something. I guess we checked numbers. We didn't check numbers Monday because I was right. This is earnings for the week. Anything important? Campbell's need some soup. Feeling like it. Don't think I see anything on there that I think is crazy. GameStop, if you're following that shit. And this right here is Australia's got GDP tonight, and Canada has a rate decision tomorrow. Probably worth, if you're trading CADs have been pretty weak for a while. Probably worth paying attention to that rate decision. EuroCAD and stuff have been a freight train, and so is PoundCAD. Nothing we care about for the United States until Friday, which is consumer sentiment. More of that shit. So PPI and consumer sentiment. So Friday would probably be your biggest, pre-market. This has been insane. These PPI and CPI numbers. There's probably a good chance of this being just some insane ass shit again in the pre-market. And when this happens, I really have to wait to see what happens, because it changes the whole goddamn market picture if it's fucking insane enough. And those last two have been fucking bonkers. Yeah, it seems every major drop in recent days artifacts has had major issues, some kind of apology. At the end of the day, like I said, those guys knew that this thing can sell outside the United States, and they got it out there, the hype up there for it, and then dropped that I'm sorry afterwards. And it's starting like, how many of those I'm sorries can you do before you start to look insincere? You know, there's pretty much an apology tour, and they've got like a very good PR game of pretending they didn't know and they mean the best for you. But there's been a couple of these now. You can kind of tell it's been fuck you, and people aren't stupid. But their community that was sucking that dick is starting to fucking get a little pissed off. So they better fucking think twice before they actually sabotage themselves internally. All right, so you guys do not have any scorecards, so I'm gonna go over here and start our macro. All right. So I've taken off a lot of TA on these guys that was on there already. Let's see. Blank, blank. So we kept this on the show, like I said, all year. So if you guys pay attention, like we talked about defense stocks all year. And Russia and China, since Hunger Games, and since we put the oil basket up in December 2021, we've been talking about Russia and defense all the time. So definitely a space you want to take your eyes off of. I don't think that genie's going back in the ball anytime soon. NOC, he's the same thing, right? This guy, we see the additional stuff. This is NOC from what I did on the sheet, but we've been tracking NOC as he broke out. We had our second trigger up here and stuff like that. And pretty strong. And this is the guy with that crazy fucking nuclear bomber and shit like that. So this guy's been a runaway freight train. And this is a side of the market while people are looking at tech go down in their fucking faces. Like people just aren't paying attention to shit like this. And you look at how big the rotation's been. Things like this. Nobody would even think of that rotation. But this is where that's really been from this year. Is that really since fucking 2021 when we told you to pay attention to defense stocks, actually that's pretty much from around here in March, and it's been fucking stabilized to rotating, and now you're really in a defense boom, along with this Dow industrial boom that's happening. This is what's happening. The market has just kind of got almost split personality. People who are stuck looking at tech see a completely different world out there than people who are looking at defense and energy stocks. It just doesn't look even remotely the same. So you look at stuff like this, guys who are refiners and shit like this, and these guys are, in absolute bull markets. While, people staring at things like this, it looks like fucking, Armageddon. CRM software stocks, these guys are all just getting absolutely just demolished, So that's an interesting one to look at. And probably worth paying attention if you get to the bottom of that. But that gives you a hell of a range if this is not going to stop de-risking right now on the tech side of the market. So anyways, we talked about the diamonds in the very beginning and what that was. So VIX things, we talked about that already. This is the other VIX graph, right? No, it's not. I just drew that one. Right, so you're watching that one, and I think I have VIX over here also. I don't think I drew anything on it, though. No, I did. Okay, never mind. So DXY things. For currency people that have been paying attention to this, we said keep track of this guy. DXY still tracking downwards. Definitely interesting that he deflected off the angle here pretty good, and he's still holding under here right now. We're not seeing a lot of dollar strength while the market looks weak. No dollar strength. It's a little interesting to see that. All right, the euro is still just structurally very strong. All right, so we want to pay attention to this as far as the currency trading goes. And, let's see, US 30, let's look pre-market. So there's a little bounce in the pre-market. Let me see. All right, so euro strong all night, dollar basically rotating, and right now the market took a shit. This is probably too tight, but we're watching this crazy flag right now. This looks insane. Honestly, when I look at something like this is kind of thing that knocks you out of a correction. You know, just this violent spikes down. It just looks like it wants to bounce. But like I said, until it shows it, don't fucking bet against it. Right now, possible 2B on the morning. This is a clean Dow. Does not have a bunch of lines on it and stuff. And then the SPX 500, you know, he looks really fucking weak. So if we stay under this like last low where this pump came from, that's not a good thing. But right now, this morning, you know, like I said, you're following this low resolution downtrend that I showed you over here on like SPY and stuff, right? And just kind of show you where you're at this morning. That's kind of where you're at. You're opening inside this shit, and that was like the futures look at it. So you have a line in the sand. The only thing that says there's a chance to bounce or stall today is that euro dollar doesn't look like, you know, what normally happens when you de-risk. The dollar is actually quite weak. So if there's a chance of like, you know, a bounce just from how steep this sell-off has been, it's in the cards. But like again, don't go betting on it before it shows itself. And for all you guys who understand, you know, in concept calls how to context, you understand how to be patient and wait for that. So the Nas has been taking it most on the face. Tech has been getting fucking smoked, and he's come onto here, and they're all have potential of being 2Bs on this crazy ass November 29th low. So pay attention to that this morning. You know, if you're intraday trading this, you're basically effectively on top of like, you know, this is tech. And like, so tech we think is weak, but you're effectively sitting on the system and like 2Bing your way into it. If you go down through this, he has a lot of room to fall, and that CRM thing can definitely get worse. Right now, the Dow, if he's going to roll underneath this, right, he has the potential to have a lot more room to correct if he's going to do that. But like I said, there's strength in the market. It's definitely been industrial. If this rotates back higher, you want to be like mentally flexible to be able to do something with it. Otherwise, you're just playing this guy as a downtrend, right? You're playing it that way. So obviously, short weakness, you know, buy strength. All right, so that's that. Crypto things. Whoops. Let's try that for right here. Excuse me. Okay, so let me get some levels from the OG sheet. So this is a key level if you guys don't remember from our sheet with all the levels on it for BTC, the historic ones. So just keeping an eye on this, right? 17,217. This is stamp levels that I use. Really key level to pay attention to right now. Just remember where you are among those levels, right? Boats and Coke was here, that summer pump. And now you're sitting around this level. It's a definitely key level. You always want to pay attention. This market is going to get worse. Like I said, I thought with ETH, you know, unless the market just explodes, I don't see it really giving people a chance to buy this. If it gets here, it's a bad thing for everybody. Because and we'll have to gauge sentiment when it gets there, but I don't think it gives people a second shot at this, you know. So definitely keep an eye on that and keep an eye on where BTC is at the moment. So BTC is pretty weak on here. This was a projection on a different sheet that if you rolled this flag out and stayed under this trigger, we'd be careful watching for bear flags. So you do have that. And so we are going to, you know, obviously keep that on the radar if the market keeps on taking in the face. So, you know, this would be something you want to adjust this level here. And this is still possibly even, you know, a corrective structure like that. But again, right, this potential bull flag is made of bear flags. And while inside this universe, you respect what's going on here. All right. Things I told you, if crypto is going to get in the face anymore, anything else, the guy to pay attention to would be these dudes like your coins and your microstrats, right? These guys look fucking kind of like structurally like FTT did we had on the show, and he had that same base setup. So watching this guy, could be he looks bullish, you know. This is one thing they said as far as ETH goes, that Sailor should look a lot more terrible. I thought he should look a lot more like Coin, but Coin looks dreadful. So if Coin gets back under this base right now, I, you know, as an exchange, kind of gauge him as a barometer for the health of the market more so than even MicroStrategy. And if he goes down and pulls the market down, it's going to get worse everywhere, including MicroStrategy. So let's see, I think that's it. Yeah, and then I think anything else we need to cover on there. I think we got, oh yeah, USDT. So you're paying attention to this guy too. Big warning for this guy, right? This is kind of like your dollar index of crypto, and so bullishness in here is bearish to everything USD in crypto. This guy right now, if you remember up here, we have a low level here. Put it over here. And you have this Clonex, you know, high motion level right here, and this is what this purple level is. So we are flagging on top of that, and this is where we give you projection. If we rotate this flag here, this big red flag you're looking at, is like this is the Armageddon bull flag of crypto. If this rotates and pumps from here above all this, after fucking honestly Clonex just fucked everybody who's in this emotional structure right now, everything's getting fucked up. So this is definitely worth paying attention to. If this blows out, tech stocks will probably be going with it also at the same moment. So definitely have this on radar right now, and definitely have coin on your radar right now as proxies to the health of crypto and NFTs. So, all right, that's a macro. I'm running out of gas a little bit, if you can't tell. So not all the way back to full health, but I'm gonna finish up on this. Um, why do you have two gigantic planets on there? Okay, PH, IBM, XLV. Is that PH? Is that what you said? Parker Hannafin? Alright, Parker Hannafin. We've had that before. Look for possible pullback or rotation. He never did. Pullback was much larger than when we projected here. So he did hold his base. We gave you a setup down here that I guess he went through. He was shortable for a while. And now he kind of looks like what's going on in the Dow Jones because he is an industrial guy. So he's got the same move the Dow has. He just breached the top of the high and he's pulling back. So this dude, we can just draw him on here. Always to be aware of, like, one thing they teach you guys really simply, reading charts is a lot like reading a story, at least in the Western world. You always read your charts as an unfolding story from left to right. So your most recent high up here, you read it like that high is a high set from this wave, and it's been stop run by this next most recent high. So you always keep him in mind. He's always significant again later. See, so just so you guys understand why we don't just go and like hit that one because he's the highest one. So if you read the story of price, from left to right, it makes sense. So, anyways, draw that. Some more accurately, the flag he pulled back from that high, and then he has done a low and the higher low. So he's actually made the uptrend here. So you're waiting to see if this turns into something you can do something with. And if you can rotate this, you can make a plan at that same level I showed you. And he should give you an exit play between this. What the hell is this? What? Why is there a heart right there? Something like that is possible if we keep getting the Dow, situation that we're seeing, and probably track this trend structure right there. But yeah, that was good. Alright, IBM, somebody asked for it, an industrial name to pay attention to. So this is an OG OnlyFans sheet that I'm sure nobody pays attention to anymore either, apparently, because I haven't put on the show in a while, nobody's asked. But take him to a big res. Turn that off. Alright, I probably made him like something like this. I think he's a 2 weekly or something crazy as fuck. Maybe a monthly. But yeah, he's a big res one I gave you guys to pay attention to. If you pay attention to IBM on this cycle, he makes a lot more sense. He's just, huge. So paying attention to him right now. Thought he was due for a rotation. We gave you OnlyFans and something to pay attention to. We talked about it a few times on the show. And like we said, this rotation, right? You want to pay attention to that. What's going on here? Right, you want to pay attention to this guy because as you rotate through time, right, you get a lot of time to just do a lot of sideways shit, and you get your point of control and a whole bunch of volume here, and then you get on top of this, you have a good situation now to mark up like all of this crap, right? All of what he's been doing, all of here, is just a shit ton of volume. So you have now on top of this, we can get a good flag situation up here. He's got the ability to continue rotating this flag, something fucking huge. This could be a move across a couple of years, going to the mid-late 2020s. So if you guys have your OnlyFans and IBM, you've been paying attention to that motherfucker too. 9:18, got minutes. Coinbase app was deleted from the App Store. Well, I know they won't allow them to update the current one unless they pay them 30% of like sending NFTs back and forth to each other. So they're kind of stuck. So if you have it, you have the app. But yeah, that's also not a good thing right now. And that's part of that coin structure. You don't want to be under attack by Apple right now. You know, and that's definitely a bad situation for Coinbase, along with the risk they're dealing with in crypto. ES, somebody put, do you mean ES like a stock symbol ES? You mean like the ES futures? I sure hope you mean with Eversource Energy. For some reason, I just don't think you mean that. But is this what you meant? I have a funny feeling you didn't mean this. Alright, well, I'll just do Eversource. Did you mean this before I fucking do this damn symbol? Well, if you did mean it, it's a fucking shit show in there. I want no part of that. Let him get on top of this, right? This would be the kind of thing you let him just get outside of this and see if you can fucking... Not worth playing inside of this. This is fucking like literally, you know, what we mean by a shockwave. Just fucking a harmonic, you know, it's fucking crazy. It'll chop you to pieces. So that's not worth being inside of. That's a month of looking at it. But yeah, that looks fucking hideous. So don't go inside of that thing. And this is the main high oscillation. So if you're going to play something like this, you're looking for a structure between that climax weight that he set up there. This shockwave, this bull flag will form in something like that. It doesn't have to be that big. It's doing a big res, but it'd be structure over here. It'd be safer to figure out and leave of that. Not the exchange itself. Meant that was first. All right, cool. TLT. All right, let me see if I can get these last ones in. TLT. The last time we talked about TLT, like, you know, crash system, big ass trigger down here, really wrecked right now. I think, you know, right now until he breaks this, he's still in a downtrend structure. You have to pay attention because we're still paying attention to this situation, you know, in TNX. And, you know, see if Putin can force your hand some more into next year or whatnot. But for right now, this is what you're watching. So we do this guy for this big TNX yield picture. TLT really is, you know, on the back of this insane shit right now near res. Can we just be bear flagging here? Yeah, you still can be. So I think that's kind of what you're watching for right now, right? If we stay, pretty deep correction. I mean, can he bounce more to this? He totally can. But you'd be following this as a low resolution uptrend right now until, you know, further notice. He hasn't proven that he's taken out even the down wave here until he gets up to this. So anything that you're doing with TLT is down on low resolutions in this low resolution uptrend that we're talking about. So bear flag on big res is a low resolution uptrend on low res. All right, and so he is pumping right now. So you have a low resolution uptrend going that you can play. And paying attention to this is probably your next inflection point where if he gets here, we probably get a stall and you have to, like, you know, reassess what TLT is going to do if he gets up to like this area of congestion. So that would be the, you know, possible target for this situation right now. AEP, what is that? AEP, is that American Eagle? American Electric Power Company. So like utility guys and stuff like that, you know, aren't necessarily the best right now. With kind of what's, it's like, you know, these guys are paying yields and stuff like that in a rising yield environment, where, you know, interest rates are rising and the risk-free rate is rising. Guys who pay you stable yields tend to get hit bad. So like REITs and utilities don't do so well while rates are rising. So these aren't necessarily the strongest places to look right now. They are good in risk-off situations, but for right now, I don't think this is the kind of place you want to be. If you're going to play this guy, you're probably playing him completely clearing out of the top of that and watching him at a larger res. Probably till rates cool down and give you a bit of a tailwind to this situation. But I think that's what you're watching. He could track around in here. He could leave it right now, but I think there's a good chance he dicks off in here, and then, you know, you get something out that like leaves later. Either way, you pay attention to him completely out of the top of this system. All right, it's 9:23. I gotta cut it there. My bad. Ran out of speed on that one, but yeah, I can't keep going. It's irresponsible. So I'm gonna let you guys out of here, and we'll if you guys remember those last two, throw them back on the Friday show, and I'll catch you guys on the flip. All right. Good luck today. Stay safe. Peace out.
Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, 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 winter. Welcome.